All right, let's get started with this recording. But I made a short earlier about Twisted Wonderland, and I try not to say too much, even though it was a spoiler free review, because episode one really does a great job at establishing this world that I didn't want to take away from just saying, oh yeah, there's this academy called what was it, Night Raven Academy, where there's these 7 houses that are inspired by Disney villains. And that alone, like that hook, I didn't want to reveal too much within that spoiler free review, because again, it's just one episode, and that's kind of the fun, is saying, oh my goodness, we're seeing all these Disney classic villains coming to life in anime format. And I mentioned this before, but it's based off. So my understanding is the guy who did Black Butler helped make this game that was Twisted Wonderland. It was like this mobile game. And then they made books off the mobile game, and now we have the animation coming out. When I was doing research, that's all I learned. I'm not trying to learn too much about the plot for spoiler reasons, especially because I'm going in blind. But that's what I have, like, that's the gist so far of what at least I understand. So already coming into this world and learning about these Disney villains makes me so incredibly happy to see what I saw, I think, when Maleficent came out, the first one at least, where with Angelina Jolie, where it's something that is very different from what Disney has been usually doing with, say, live action adaptations, or playing it a little bit safer. I kind of want more bold directions with the stories that they tell. And the reason why I'm a big fan of Maleficent, and even I haven't seen it, but Cruella, is that it's not your same story retold over and over again. It's putting a spin on it. And I think that what I've seen so far with Twisted Wonderland, and this is where I'm giving Disney huge props for, is they're trying to build up more of their anime catalog, which is a very smart play for them to do right now. But also by establishing Twisted Wonderland and bringing that more into the public eye. And I know the game has been successful, but I'm talking more directly towards Disney normies and Disney fans who you just mentioned Twisted Wonderland and they have no clue what you're talking about. So by making this show and putting it on Disney Plus and putting it on the front page too of your site, it's going to get more eyeballs on this. And I'm excited because even though I'm not a fan, I'm not a fan of Twisted Wonderland. I am very much a normie like everyone else because I haven't played the games or the books. I've just heard that this anime was coming out and my friend said it was really good. That's the extent of what I know. I can see more people getting into anime, which I think is a good thing, but also Disney expanding their brand to encompass anime, especially when it comes to their unique properties. And the first thing I actually thought of is, they announced that Disney World was going to get a whole villains land. I think it'd be cool if they actually did something smart and put a lot of Twisted Wonderland merch within that villains land and start promoting that more. Because I feel like right now what Disney really needs is it needs something new and fresh, but something that also ties it back to its original brand, like its classic films. Like, you don't want a retelling of a story. We want the same stories, but with a twist added on, something that feels familiar, but has a unique enough concept that you can still be interested in. And that's why I think Twisted Wonderland does so well, at least at the start, is it's very much a generic anime plot of this guy who's doing kendo with his friend, living a normal school life. He's in high school, like at the start of pretty much every isekai, right? Before you get whisked away to this other world, right? But what's really cool about that is they really make it so generic that I'm like, wait, this may not actually be this interesting. But then he actually gets thrown into Night Raven Academy, and then it gets really interesting. So let me just pull up his name really quick because I looked up the synopsis too. Yukin Enma. So Yukin Enma, Night Raven College. But like, it was cool to see, like, when he was getting whisked away, the mirror, and then all like the Disney villains, and then them switching. So you get to see classic Disney animation, and then of course the actual anime, what everything is looking like. But yeah, like so far, I've been liking sort of just the idea of this world, which is these Disney villains have sort of these houses like Harry Potter. That's like the best way I can describe it, where each villain has a house, apparently. Like there's, of course, I think they showed Maleficent, Ursula, Evil Queen, Queen of Hearts, Scar, and Jafar. So I think there's like six total. I think I mentioned all of them. So to see them and see the people that belong to each of these houses will be really interesting to see play out, especially within. I mean, let's be honest. The school format, it may be generic, it may be formulaic for a lot of anime, but I will say when people criticize it, I have to give them props. You can do some very creative things by making it in a high school format, just from the social setting alone. So seeing how it's already a prestigious like college and all these characters are coming in. And I'm already liking also the designs, the uniforms, very like clashing with like the blue flames because, this cat interrupts the ceremony and these blue flames emerge. It's really cool visually to see everything. Like you see coffins, you see a magic mirror, you see the headmaster with a mask on, or them with the robes. Like I feel like this is a very unique world that I want to see more of. And even if the story ends up being a little bit more generic, even if I'm bored by like episode 3, even though this is like an 8-episode anime, what I will say is I'm already just hooked based on the aesthetics. And I already can see why maybe the game and the books have been such a huge success, because it just is cool to look at. And at the bare minimum, when it comes to anime, you want cool things to look at, especially when it comes to style, fashion, and especially things to cosplay. So especially like I'm already seeing like some big players, especially like some fan favorites. Like we already have sort of, it looks like our main character meeting like, I want to say it's going to be a central character, which is like the guy who is the Queen of Hearts representative. I forgot his name, but I'm sure I'm going to learn it over the course of the show. But he comes to the forefront and he's talking like with his abilities to, especially stop that fire breathing cat. I don't even know what that cat's supposed to be. My hint is I think it's supposed to be based off Alice in Wonderland, that cat, the Cheshire Cat. That's what I think the flaming cat is, but we'll see. But I think I'm right on that. But yeah, we also see like, Scar, and I think, yeah, Scar's like how I want to say descendants, but I don't think that's how it works. I think it's just house. Like the people who belong to Scar's house, the way they act is very unique. And then like I think I saw some, I didn't see Maleficent, but I watched that end animation where it's like, oh, we forgot to invite Maleficent's house. So I don't think we saw them, but I think we saw a little bit of Ursula's, which they act very unique and different. Like some act more posh than others. Some act more chaotic. Some are just there, So seeing the differences, I already can tell there's like a huge cast to go along with this story. And what this story reminds me of is especially the types of shows where it is like isekai-esque, where we'll throw you into this world with this person, so you and the main character don't necessarily know anything, and you are learning alongside this character, like the main character, which is Enma, right? And with Enma, we're going to learn more about how classes work, how orientation works, how magic works within this world, and especially meeting these characters. And I especially am looking forward to the character development and seeing, oh, what are the power dynamics between the different houses? How does each house use magic? Is it very different from one another? Especially when it comes to colors, because I see a lot of greens, blues, reds, especially. So to see that all unfold and to see how he actually enters this world, because the big thing, and this is where it's most interesting to me, is when a story has an intriguing hook by introducing this mystery of like, there's this random Japanese high schooler that enters this world. Where is he? How'd he get here? This isn't supposed to happen, especially during an entrance ceremony. Why did this cat, this monster, ambush the ceremony? How did the cat know about Enma, right? There's these questions that you have that you definitely have the chance to explore over the course of the series and make things interesting. Like they mention how everyone who gets invited to this prestigious university or college, right? They have to have some amount of magical power and potential, especially because it's very competitive. But this high schooler says he doesn't know magic. So how did they find that out? And what magic abilities does he have? I want to see that unfold. And I feel like we are going to get that. I think what's also going to be really fun to see is this going to be a yaoi? Like that's the main thing. And it could be they lean into the yaoi, or it could be definitely what was it? Queer coded, I guess is the best way to describe it, where it could be like shows like Bungo Stray Dogs. That's the first vibe it gives me, where it's a lot of heavy male dominated. It's a male dominated series. Like there's lots of male characters, right? So of course you're going to have relationships form, but it's not necessarily a yaoi, but it can be described as queer coded. So it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening with all of that, because I could see them go either way, but it's also Disney. So I could see them trying to play it safe for general audiences and say it's queer coded, as much as I love it to be a yaoi, because hey, I mean, I'm a fan of yaoi. Like I'm a fan of all stories and romances. If you want to throw in yaoi, my only thing with yaoi is just make sure it's written good, like an actual romance. That is one criticism I have of some yaoi, is it's very toxic and written in a way where it's just disrespectful, especially to like queer communities, because it's just like, really? Like we've had some absolute sinkers, and like I just want my Yuri on Ice. I want more Yuri on Ice anime. So if you can play along those lines, if this is what the approach that this show takes, I am down for it. But again, I'm just saying it's giving me vibes of this could be a yaoi, or this could be definitely queer coded. But I have yet to see it. Again, I'm going in blind, but this is just my impression so far. Especially because you got that scene where he tackles, and of course it's the, hovering over each other, both his hands. Like he pushed, what was it? The dude who was the Queen of Hearts house, right, down to avoid the fireball going at them. So what they did that on purpose. It's like, what purpose was there for that? Or was it to start a friendship? Like they were roommates, Well, I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm going in blind. This is just episode 1 for me. But also, like, they could do it, but then they also couldn't do it. But what I would love for Disney to do is, even if it is queer coded, I would still love to see them promote this beyond Disney Plus. Because if this ends up being a big success in terms of viewership on the platform, please push it more in the theme parks, especially when you're pushing like a villain show in, I think, Hollywood Studios, or like the Villains Land that they're building in Magic Kingdom, right? I think it'd be so cool. Like, yes, you already have the existing villains, but if you push more anime stuff, especially with like plushes for these characters, you can make bank. And I'm not criticizing anyone for this, okay? And I've had this argument before, but I am someone who invests in plushes. As you can see, I invest in figures. Disney, you can make so much money by giving the fans what they want for the fans, okay? And look, if you do release it, I will respect you, and I will also purchase it, because so far I'm enjoying the show. I like the character designs, and I want more plushes for my collection. And I loved if some of them were Disney, because if you look up there, even though a lot of it is anime merch, I do have a Daredevil helmet, and I have right next to it, you can't really see it, but a Star-Lord helmet as well. So I do like Disney properties. Like I love Marvel, I love Star Wars, but give us more. Give us more stuff to enjoy and like, especially if you cater to the fandom, because we will reward you handsomely. And it's to me the same argument as like the Kingdom Hearts thing. It's like, you know how much you could make if you just gave the Kingdom Hearts fandom more of what they want? Like, you already have some meet and greets with Mickey, Goofy, and Donald in their Kingdom Hearts outfits, but what if you gave more merchandise, or like created a whole land, or just an area where you can meet Kingdom Hearts like characters or merchandise, or even like something as simple as like, look, this is a limited time pop-up, and just seeing how that does. Because trust me, what I will say is when you get like a fandom that has been starving, like, and I'm talking like starving, like the lions in Lion King, you know, after Scar took power, like I'm talking about that here. When you have a fandom that's starving for more content or merchandise, and you give them that, even if it's a limited run, they will show up for it. And I'm saying this for the Kingdom Hearts fans out there. Let your voices be known. We want more of that from Disney. And I'm not even a Kingdom Hearts kind of guy. I'm not even a fan of it. I just know a couple things from my friends. But I also know how it's been treated by Disney, where it hasn't been given that much coverage, despite it being so popular. But I guess it's also technically niche a little bit, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, they did. Okay, but I will give Disney props. They did post something on their social media where someone dressed up as Sora and was running around the parks in Disneyland. I thought that was very hype of them. Good job, Disney. Good job, the social media team, for doing that. Because you saw them show up and everyone was so excited to see, yes, Kingdom Hearts mentioned. But I feel like they're also going to do that for Twisted Wonderland. Because if it is a big success, like I'm reading here, like the books and the game, I feel like there's a fandom there, and if Disney rewards that fandom handsomely, they're gonna go feral. They're like, Twisted Wonderland mentioned, woohoo! You know, just something along those lines. Like, definitely cater to the fans. But yeah, let me go back to the show before we go on and on about what Disney should do, because there's a lot. But overall, I still enjoy what I've been seeing. It's given me a lot of Vanitas, like the Keisei Vanitas, Bungo Stray Dogs. I mentioned that before. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, and then you can see the influence from Black Butler for sure. So I'm liking everything so far. It's been great. The fact that I watched this and wanted to make a video after watching it out of the blue, just a spoiler review, just goes to show that, look, I'm here for the long haul. I'm here for the episodes, and episode one ends on a cliffhanger, and I'm upset because whenever a show I'm interested in ends, and I have to wait a whole week for episode 2, you know it's a good show. You know you have a hit on your hands. So good job, Disney. And what I will say, I'll end with this. You will have a lot of people who are anime fans coming in and already judging this harshly, especially with a little bit of the stilted animation at the very start of the episode. They expect Demon Slayer levels of quality. They expect Attack on Titan, Mappa, JJK levels of quality, okay? Mappa animators who go crazy. You're not going to get that with this show. You are not going to get the highest quality animation to the fans, because this is very much a lower budget and smaller scale type of show. But what I will say is, please give this a chance, despite the animation not being some of the best in the industry, because so far I'm enjoying the story. I'm enjoying the colors, the character designs, and I'm liking sort of what the potential of the story is, especially because I've been hearing it's been such a big success. So this is, I think, what Disney needs. They need to be pushing this more, and don't be discouraged by people coming in and like pointing their noses up and saying this is an inferior show to other anime, because I don't think it is. I think it's a good step forward, and we need more unique shows like this and unique stories, especially for the Disney brand. Because that's all I want, you know, like who cares if we get a bunch of unique anime from Disney that aren't the greatest? I would just want more diversity with their content. And even if a show isn't like great or even mid at best, you know, I still want it, because I just don't want to just keep making the same live action remakes or the same safe bets that, like, for example, as much as I love Tron Ares wasn't the greatest because it didn't take any risks and it played it very safe from what people wanted, which was a continuation of Legacy that they never got. So Disney, if you're listening to this, or someone who works at Disney, I've said this before, they're probably not watching, but please give this show a shot. And please learn from the show in the best ways possible to expand the brand. Because all we want as fans, if you're a Disney fan, if you're an anime fan, or maybe just a fan of Twisted Wonderland, we want more stuff like this. And the more, the better. And I could see this being sort of a turning stone for the company. Because if they do listen to what people are saying here, you're going to invite a lot more fans that aren't Disney fans necessarily, but since you're incorporating a lot of anime, you're incorporating a lot of Twisted Wonderland, Kingdom Hearts, you're going to get a lot of people to show up for that. And I think that's what matters, right? Is giving fans what they want and also reaping the rewards. So I'll end it there. But thanks for watching, and let me know your thoughts about episode 1. Did you love it? Did you not like it? Let me know how it is as an adaptation, because again, I went in blind. I thought it was a decent anime episode 1, but you may feel differently. So let me know in the comments below. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to give my thoughts on Twisted Wonderland, and take care, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.